Again, I'm a voyeur, so I love it. I'll watch it.
It was definitely.
Sideshows that would come in and stuff. Do you still do those?
Or yeah. Like this?
Oh, and the butterflies, before you get on, you're waiting in line.
Certified free, 7 days a week. That wet ass pussy got my pull-out game weak. Ooh.
Yo, what up, body shoppers? Gelsomino here with
Marilu.
How's everybody doing tonight? Let me get our chat turned on so we can see everybody when they start chatting.
Awesome.
And, so that's it. That's our show. Have a good one.
That's the wrap up of 2020.
That pretty much sums up 2020. That is for sure. Yes, that is for sure. Oh my gosh. So how was your day?
It seems like a blur. Lately I've had these moments where it's just kind of like,
Yep. What's up, Thomas? What's up, Chris? How you guys doing? Good to see you. Lee, welcome to the show. See you next year. See ya.
It's like really what can you say about 2020? It was, we have one more day of this like cluster.
Fuck. What's up, Jason? Jason on YouTube.
Hey.
It really sucks. It's not showing us how many people are watching. There must be must be a glitch in the matrix.
There must be. Well, it's overloaded. That's what it is.
Oh yeah. Overloaded with love.
Oh my god.
I can't remember. We went live last week, but that was before Christmas. So I guess we could talk about Christmas a little bit and the winter fucking storm.
Yeah, for those of us that went trekking off to from Pittsburgh to Cleveland, it's a 2-hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
That really wasn't the bad part. It was like once we got there, whoa. That storm hit all of a sudden, and we were just like,
Well, we were visiting family Christmas Eve on the east side of Cleveland, and so I was visiting with my mother, my aunt, my brothers, and all that stuff at my mom's, and when she pretty much lives in the snow belt, so they got clobbered both Thursday and Friday. But yeah. What's funny is we have 2 all-wheel drive vehicles. Actually, that's not true. We have 3 all-wheel drive vehicles. And then I have the little hybrid that's 2-wheel drive. And you even said, do you want to take the all-wheel drive vehicle? I'm like, nah, it'll be fine. Now, obviously we were fine. We didn't get any accidents or anything. But in retrospect, I think we should have taken the all-wheel drive vehicles. At least one of them.
We kind of, I will say this about Pittsburgh. We have kind of gotten spoiled because, every time they say there's a storm coming here, we never really see the effects that we see back home in Cleveland. They say snow, they say 6 inches, we get 13. They say 13 and we get 6.
Well, like for me, it's the opposite. If I tell you you're going to get 12, you're going to get 6.
Well, it's we're back to the how many inches. It doesn't matter whether you're talking about snow, whether you're talking about penises. It's
yeah. But the difference is with snow, you don't want as many inches unless you're into like skiing or sledding or whatever. So
true, and you can't really forecast a penis size like you can Well, you can't really forecast the weather either.
I don't know where you're going there. Oh my God. But Thomas says the clusterfuck is far from over. That's probably true. That's probably true. Do we miss anybody? Who we said Jason, we got Tom, we got Chris, got Lee. So Lee asked how long have we lived in Ohio and PA? Well, I am 49. Yeah, 49. And up until 6 years ago, up until 6 years ago, I lived in Cleveland my whole entire life. And for the last 6 years, Marilu and I have been living in Pittsburgh.
Right.
Now, Marilu's lived in a couple of different places.
Well, I lived in Puerto Rico till I was about 6, and then Cleveland, and now Pittsburgh. So,
¿Tú hablas español?
Hablo un poquito de español.
For all of our Spanish-speaking fans,
¿Cómo tal?
Only Marilu speaks fluent Spanish. I speak about probably a 2-year-old's worth of Spanish, maybe a 3-year-old.
Oh my God! And the things that he comes up with.
What?
In trying to read Spanish or assimilate, like, oh, I want ice cream. That should be ice with frío, and cream should be crema. Fría crema? No, that's not it.
Or would it be how do you say ice? Is it not helado?
Helado.
Helado crema.
No, because helado is ice cream.
Well, that's ice. What is actually so helado is ice cream. So I say it fucked up. I speak it in what would be in my mind the translation, but apparently it's got a whole different, Well,
you did the same thing with sour cream.
Yeah, crema agria.
Yeah. You look for like the literal translation. You're like, okay, this word is this by itself, and this word is this by itself. So let's just put them together.
Well, actually, a funny story about that. So I'll tell everybody this, my embarrassing story. So we're at Marilu's parents, and her mom asked if I want some coffee. So, me being cute, I'm like, let me have some cafe e crema. Well, Marilu's stepfather is there, and he looks at me and goes, "You want coffee and Christmas?" And I'm like, "What?" He goes, crema. It says something like you're saying Christmas in Spanish, or not in Spanish, but in broken English Spanish.
In Spanglish.
I said crema. He heard Christmas.
So you wanted coffee with your Christmas?
Yeah, I wanted coffee and Christmas. Technically, I was having coffee on Christmas.
There you go. So it made sense in the long run, right?
Right. Yeah, so F-A-E crema.
Oh, the craziness.
Yes.
Blended families on the holidays.
Yeah. So Jason asked how our Christmas was. Well, we're giving a little bits and pieces here. Yeah. We had 2 days of terrible driving, and we literally had to go, well, I wouldn't say from one end of Cleveland to the other, but, my mother lives far east in Cleveland. And it ended up being about 45 minutes to an hour to get back to the hotel.
Yeah. And we had there were 2 accidents on the way out to your mom's that,
Yeah.
threw us back a little bit, but the way back wasn't so bad. It just was, everyone. Yeah, it was sloppy and everyone driving.
You know what? I drove it. You probably slept through part of it. So.
Oh no. Oh no.
Marilu was white knuckled, holding on to door handles.
Especially when. The car we were driving was the hybrid that isn't all-wheel drive. So the minute it starts to skid, the traction control goes into play. So then all you hear is Driving me crazy.
No, those were the noise you were making. That was not the car.
It was either way, whatever it was freaking me out. It's just as bad as when I do fall asleep in the car and you hit the rumble strips and I wake up and I'm like, what'd you do? What happened? What?
Right. Lisa Steele says hi. Hi, Lisa. How you doing?
Hey,
Thanks for watching. So Thomas wants to know. You gonna sneeze?
Excuse me.
Oh, Jason has no picture. Uh-oh. Maybe that's what's going on. Well, come on over to Facebook, Jason. I don't know why you're not getting. Damn it!
It's okay. We'll work through it.
Yeah, it is what it is. Battery operated noises.
I wish, but even then, it wouldn't have calmed me down. I don't like.
No. So Thomas wants to know why we're in two separate rooms and do the live stream.
Why are we in different rooms? Because this is my office and that's your office.
Yeah, I mean no real answer other than this is just how we do it. Plus, you know what? I think it's kind of awkward if we were sitting next to each other trying to talk. At least this way, we're both sort of in front of each other, so it kind of makes it easy. Now, if you want to tune in later when we're on Chatterbait, we will be on the same camera at the same time with Lulu. So we'll have a with us. So what's up, Kirk? How you doing? Thanks for joining the live stream. Jason, I'm sorry you don't have a picture on YouTube. Let me jump over to YouTube real quick and see what's going on.
Oh.
Let's see. If you get sorry you don't have a picture. Oh no, I've got a picture on YouTube. So Jason, that's you, my friend. You better refresh. So yeah. So anyway, went into Cleveland for Christmas. Spent 2.5 days there. What would you call it? 2.5 days?
Yeah, 2.5 days.
We came home on Saturday. But yeah, it was nice. We actually hadn't seen. I don't think we've seen any of their family for 2 months since before Halloween. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. So it was kind of crazy. It's been a wild ride. So, so we got some good news sort of today, Pennsylvania is lifting the partial closure ban, whatever you want to call it, come Monday. They're not reinstating it. However, we got bad news for Ohio. Ohio is unfortunately keeping the curfew in place, but we think we found a workaround. So Lisa's asking, what are we doing for New Year's? So Lisa says she just went through a breakup, hoping not to sit at home alone. Well, so for New Year's, we're going to be doing the virtual. So you can always kind of come hang out with us. I know it's not exactly the same, but you can always come hang out with us on virtual. That'll be in the Body Shop website. And then Canton is having a New Year's Eve event offering. So I'll tell you about Ohio. So basically what we're doing in Ohio at the Canton Club for New Year's Eve tomorrow is we're doing it. I don't know if anybody here is familiar with what a hostel is, and by hostel I don't mean the movie Hostel, because we are definitely not doing that.
That would be for Halloween.
We'll do Hostel Halloween.
Yeah.
Basically, the way it's going to work in Canton is doors are going to open at 9. You'll be able to check in until 11:30, and then we're sort of treating it like a lock-in, and we're going to be open until 5 a.m. Now, the caveat to that is it's going to be very limited service because technically it's not an event. You're basically staying overnight at the Body Shop in a hostel type environment. And again, I don't mean hostile like angry or whatever that exactly means. But it's basically just a I don't know how to explain it better.
It's a sleepover.
Yeah.
It's a pajama jam.
Because of the curfew, the way the curfew reads is that you're supposed to be basically at your home, a place where you reside, or could even be like a shelter or hotel motel type situation. So we're sort of hostel. So we're treating the body shop like a hostel / motel type thing for the night. So you can crash there if you want. If you decide that you want to leave in the middle of the night, you certainly can do that. We're not going to keep you from leaving, but we wouldn't recommend it because of the curfew. So, that's basically the long and the short of it. So it's $25 a person, and we'll see. We're going to try it. So, let's see. So Thomas says, but Tom says he's sitting at home also having a fireworks show. What the hell does that mean? What does having a fireworks show at home mean? I'm definitely curious about that.
Is that like his own fireworks are going to be shooting off?
Well, I don't know. Because, jerking off? Like he's going to have a blast off from the penis? I don't know.
That's what I was thinking.
All right, Tom, we need you to clarify what your fireworks are. So, but yeah, so those are our New Year's Eve plans.
Actual fireworks, he says.
Oh, how does that work? So you just blow those off in your front yard, backyard, shoot them at the neighbors? What do you do? I have a question for Thomas. I have no idea how old you are, Thomas. So, but I don't think this is really age. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't think this is generational. But I'm wondering if you've ever taken Roman candles or bottle rockets and shot them at your friends. Because we certainly have. Well, I mean me and my friends, my brothers.
Well, we used to make bazookas.
Do tell.
We used to take Coke cans, cut off the lids, the top and the bottom, and you would tape 4 to 5 of them together. In the meantime, you would core a hole on the second one, and you would put lighter fluid in there. And then you'd take it and you'd shake it. Okay. And then you'd put a lighter to it or throw a match, hold it like a bazooka. And when the match hit the lighter fluid, it would just.
Now, did you put a tennis ball or anything in there?
We did potatoes.
Potato? You didn't try shooting them up each other's asses, did you?
What?
You didn't try shooting them up each other's asses, did you?
No. This was we were between the ages of 8 to 12. And we would do that. We weren't allowed to, actually purchase fireworks. So we kind of made our own.
That's okay. Now, is this back in PR?
Huh?
Is this back in Puerto Rico? Or is this in Cleveland?
Both. I learned how to do it in Puerto Rico. And then when I came back to Cleveland the following, year, that was my okay, I'm going to show off the neighbor kids what I can do.
Marilu's making potato bazookas.
Yeah.
And you didn't get in trouble for wasting the potatoes?
No. Because, no one knew I was taking the potatoes at the time.
Okay.
Just giving myself up. Sorry, Mom. I don't know where those 10 pounds of potatoes went.
Tom says they used to have Roman candle fights, and whoever had the most burnt clothes was the loser. We actually did it. Whoever chickened out first, whoever ran and hid was the loser. So we would shoot them at each other, and we'd just try and dodge it. And it, eventually when you get hit, you start freaking out, because you're getting hit with fire. But yeah, bottle rockets. I mean, we used to do these things called screaming memes. That's what we called them. I don't know what the hell they were called. But they were in a box, probably about this big, and there was like 100 little bottle rockets, and you would light it, and they would just start. They had no long sticks or anything, so when they came out, they were like this long. They would just go fucking everywhere, and of course, people would get hit by them, because we would be far enough away from them. So we call them screaming memes.
So what's our wrap up?
What's our wrap up for 2020? I'm not gonna. It's been a pretty fucking crazy year, and I don't know if everybody's been affected the same way by it. For us as business owners, and in this specific business, sort of the nightclub business has been extraordinarily difficult, because really, from a governmental perspective, they frankly don't give a shit about us. So we're really the last ones. Even sporting events, like football. For Ohio, the governor gave a special pass for the Cavaliers to play and have however many thousands of people there, 3,000 or 4,000, whatever the number is. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, we're really on the bottom of the totem pole.
I think this year, like Summer Sunshine's asking, how has this year affected people, with sex, playtime, meetups? I think some people have been creative in still having their playtime and their meetups, and then so they're kind of like in the middle, and then of everything. Then you have the ones that are total lockdown, and then you have the ones that are like, it is what it is, and you go on about your day. But it's definitely affected everyone in one way or another. And especially, like you noted, especially in this industry.
Yeah.
Like you said, being business owners, I don't think that people realize that we're like your small business, and how it affects us, and being able to provide everyone with a safe space.
Yeah. It's and it's even in our own realm of people in sex workers, or people that are involved in the swingers or the lifestyle podcasts, all of that stuff, even amongst each other, there's been a lot of sort of back and forth, people angry because we're not open, people angry because we are open. There's just this, this, what's the word I'm looking for? A polarity. Is that the right word? Polarity between, between everybody around this issue. And I certainly take it serious. I really, really do. And, Marilu and I just had a close friend come out of the hospital last week, who spent 9 days in the ICU. We were just talking about somebody. Did you just told me somebody today died of COVID, somebody, or I can't remember now who now. But it's it's easy to be dismissive of all of that's going on, because it doesn't, maybe you got it and it wasn't a big deal, or maybe you haven't gotten it yet, so you don't think it's a big deal, or you don't really know anybody that got it, or a few people that got it and nothing major happened. But For me personally, I mean, I almost lost, we almost lost a best friend,
Mm-hmm.
very, very, very easily. And he had no idea he had it.
Yeah.
He had no symptoms. He was just really tired. And he's dealing with some other things. And that's the other issue is people say, oh, well, there's always underlying factors. Well, does that really matter? But on the other side of it, it's affecting people adversely in other ways, financially and emotionally and mentally and physically and, all of this stuff. So, I can understand why there's such polarity between the two camps, but I think the most of us are somewhere in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of us. So,
yeah. And I think a lot of people have, not just in our industry, but a lot of people in different industries alike have kind of opened up their eyes to how they can make things work, what different formats are there. They could still bring a similar type of entertainment to people, or meet and greets. So all of a sudden, boom, virtual blew up for a lot of people.
Oh, Zoom.
So,
So a couple things. Hindsight is 2020. And when this first started, I remember like looking at the stocks and stuff like that. Even like Zoom, Square. Square was at like $23 when this started, and it's at like, I think it's at like 275 right now or something. I mean, if you had taken 10 grand and put it into that, you would have just 10 times your money.
yeah.
But Summer is saying that her and her fiance don't live together. So they've had maybe sex 3 times this year. That's pretty terrible. Hopefully you're doing a lot of masturbating, or both of you are doing a lot of masturbating.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you saw this, Thomas. What Thomas said, he said, thank God he never got it, but went through 3 times and was in the hospital twice, once for 4 days. So did you get it or not get it? I guess I'm not understanding. If you actually got it or not. He says he didn't get it in April. So you can kind of chime in on that. I'm curious what you mean. Especially if you got it 3 times. If you got COVID 3 times, that's super interesting. I've only heard about a few people getting it twice, but 3 times is a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I know, people have been, tested. There's people, like, I remember when everything first started, and it was like,
oh, we got tested 3 times negative. Okay. Got it.
When everything first started, it was like, I got an email from my other job, like, you're considered an essential worker, and here's your letter to drive around so that no one, if you get stopped or whatever, you have to come to work, blah, 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 blah. And then I'd go to work and I'd take pictures of like, hello, I'm the only one here.
Yeah. It's even been polarizing, in that regard. We know people that never stopped working.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were kind of shut down, and I know you were still working for a bit at the time here and there, until you took the leave of absence. But it's really interesting. For some people, they didn't miss a beat, and I feel like this is just anecdotal at best. I feel like the people that are anti-maskers are probably the ones that have not experienced any sort of shutdown. They probably have just worked through this like nothing's happened. They probably have never gotten it. Don't know many people, if any people, that have gotten it. So to them, it's, what the fuck is the big deal? And that's, again, this is tough.
Yeah.
I've certainly been cavalier about it at times. There's no question. But I certainly am not fighting people about wearing masks. I fucking hate wearing a mask. I think it's ridiculous. But if I want to go to Costco or go to a restaurant or whatever, that's what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like wearing pants either, but I do that when I go to the restaurant.
Well, this year has been the year of like no pants, because everyone was doing everything virtually.
I'm wearing pants right now, by the way.
Today you are.
Because it's a little chilly.
Well, and I think, like Summer was saying, it's been, this year I think has been trying for families, for relationships, for friendships, because people have different opinions and different views on things, and trying to keep everyone together and yet in a healthy state of mind, without killing each other is one thing. When it comes to relationships, and when you can't, you're each in your own separate bubbles, that you can't see each other that much, or because in this case, because of work, trying to maintain a household, that affects everyone, and not just, in the mental or sense, it affects your libido, it affects your health, your well-being in so many different ways that, it's definitely going to be an interesting outcome in the next couple of years, or if someone starts doing research as towards what are the effects of not just the pandemic in itself, but of the year.
Yeah. Well, I remember when it first started and we were initially locking down. I remember it started ramping up. It was like February, it was starting to get a little goofy and people were getting concerned. And then right before the shutdown in mid-March, even some of our staff were like really, and I'm not saying this begrudgingly, but some of our staff were really freaking out and like, oh my gosh, they weren't even coming, they were calling in. The last event that we did before the shutdown was the St. Patrick's Day party. And even that in and of itself, the attendance wasn't very good. And then boom, I think it was 2 days later. Yeah, that Monday.
Yeah.
Everything shut down. But I just remember having this sense of dread, like, because the way it was talked about was, the mortality rate's going to be like 3 or 5%. And you started looking at the numbers and it was going to be terrible. And it seemed like if you got it, no matter who you were going to end up in the hospital or you were going to end up dead. And I just remember feeling that for a long time, like this sense of dread. And then when things started easing up and we opened back up, I was like, oh, okay, this isn't so bad. So it's just been kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Chris said the worst aspect of this is the lack of social interaction. Couldn't agree more. Marilu and I interact socially every day. But I couldn't imagine if I were single, stuck in my house by myself every day for months on end. And I know there are people that, still stay home, for whatever, not for whatever reason, but, stay home because they either work from home or they're on unemployment or whatever. And
I mean, think about it. How, we do know ourselves a few people that are in that situation where, their job has transitioned to being in their home. So they're not getting out. They're like literally doing everything through Instacart, food deliveries, restaurant deliveries, and so forth. And you wonder, what's the outcome of that going to be? Is this creating more agoraphobia?
There's no doubt. That's great that you said that. There's no doubt. There's no question in my mind that there are people that are becoming agoraphobic. Maybe it's more COVID phobic. Because I think agoraphobic really just relates to having a general sense of dread, leaving your home or the safety of your home. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know specifically, but I just want to comment on this. Summer mentioned about letting yourself go. Listen, I'll speak for myself. I know I eat my feelings. And when I'm depressed or not feeling, mentally in the best mood, I eat. I find satisfaction in food. And I think a lot of people do. That's why it's called comfort food for some things that you eat.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I think before this all started, I was about 268, 270. I'm 285 right now. I was approaching my heaviest weight ever. But yeah, it's tough. But she was saying about feeling sexy. That's all up here,
Mm-hmm.
all up here, and it's tough. It's tough.
It is.
I'm a
Yeah.
guy. I don't know if you could tell, I'm a guy. But I think, and the reason I say that is some people think, oh, guys don't care about how they look or whatever. I certainly do, and I have body image issues, and just like many other people.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so it can be tough. It can be
Yeah.
tough.
And it's hard. I know someone also noted that the family is so divided that even for like celebrating someone's birthday or a get together, people being scared to come over or to acknowledge or because of COVID. And how do you, I think overall, okay, this year there's things that everyone has missed out on.
Birthday.
And I know a lot of people are like, oh, those are all just materialistic things, and going out to dinner and this and that are all
superficial
things. But we are by nature a social network of people, and when you don't have that social outlet, it's it can be devastating for some people.
Yeah.
Well,
so Lee's asking, well, let me back up for a second. Summer commented a couple other times before I get to you, Lee. Yeah, birthdays are tough. One of our good friends just, what is this? 3 days ago turned 60 years old. We all had these grandiose plans of having a huge birthday party for him, and we're going to have it at the club, and that's a milestone, turning 60. I mean, that's kind of a big deal. That means you're almost dead. So Dave, if you're watching, no, I'm kidding. It's tough. When we went to Christmas, my one aunt was there, and I went to give her a hug, and she's like, nope, elbows. Now my aunt is 92 years old. So it was kind of funny to me, just in general, that she's like, elbow bump.
Yeah. What was funny to me was that someone else went to actually go in and give the hug, and it was like a collision of the elbow to the face, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, she's a little frail, frail one too, so it's not like she's this, but yeah, that was funny because you told me that.
Yeah.
So Lee's asking, what is the outlook for the clubs? Fuck if I know. I wish I knew. For the time being, the clubs are, when I say staying open, meaning we're not closing permanently. I don't know for Pittsburgh. Technically, I can open up next weekend. I just don't know that I'm going to. I haven't made that decision. Marilu and I have not. I have a terrible habit of saying I. Marilu and I have not talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we'll talk about it and figure out if it's right. Yes, we're opening up Canton. It's a little bit different area geographically, and much smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So Well, the group sizes, while there are going to be groups, the size of the groups are going to be much smaller than they would be here in Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of things to consider with all of this. So,
And as you noted, there's such a demographically there the differences between the membership in one club versus another, the polarity that is involved in that membership also
yeah.
Takes into play here whether we're open or not. When you have the why are you open versus the why aren't you opens versus the it takes a lot. And I know that that can be frustrating for our members, but we don't want it to be. That's for us to deal with. And I know that whatever decisions we make at the time that we make them is for everyone's best interest.
And also based on information that's available at the time. We caught, well, I said this earlier, some people were upset when we were closed. Some people were upset when we were open. But we're making the best decisions, possible with the information at hand. And I was actually just thinking about this earlier. It's super easy to sit in judgment of other people and what they do or don't do, especially when it's different from how you may personally operate or what your personal beliefs are. And the reality is that nobody knows what anybody else is going through. Nobody knows the hardships that they're dealing with. They don't know, in what way the pandemic is affecting them. I can certainly guess and say, the people that are sitting at home collecting an unemployment check are probably the easiest ones to talk about everybody else who's out running around doing stuff, or if they've chosen to self quarantine. And I don't mean to, we shouldn't talk about all this. My point is that don't judge other people and what they do or don't do, unless it directly affects you personally, or somebody close to you. Just, it doesn't help anybody. And you're not going to help anybody by screaming at them because they're wearing a mask or because they're not wearing a mask or because they're going out or not going out or whatever. That's your own personal prerogative. You can do whatever the fuck you want, sorry. Went off on a tangent there.
As you can see by our open comments here, yeah, I guess that's kind of like the toll that we're bearing. The judgments and the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, if you do, if you don't, it's kind of astounding.
That's
considering,
a great word. Stupefying, astounding, stupefying. Yes, all of that.
Considering that we are in a lifestyle that is supposed to be non-judgmental.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Remember the big word? No judgment, no drama. And yet,
the surprising thing to me is the people in the kink community and the swinger community, LGBTQ community, being so incredibly judgmental of other people. Yet some of those same people will freak out or get upset because they're being judged because of who they are or the things that they're doing, that don't affect anybody else. Right. And, it's really reductive to say things like, oh, well, you've got to do this for the greater good. The greater good of what? Is it all supposed to be self-sacrificing? Does somebody just go broke or bankrupt or lose their house or lose a family member or whatever because for the greater good? Who gets to decide where that line is? And the reality is we all have to decide that for ourselves, where that line is. So if you take anything out of this whole entire discussion, stop being a fucking dick and stop judging people. Brianna in the house. Brianna, how are you? I don't think I missed anybody else. I hope if I missed anybody else, we got Lisa Steele. I wanted to roll back here real quick. I put it up on the screen because I wanted to ask Summer. Summer made a comment saying that they had to stop working. And I think you're talking. Are you talking about your son?
Yes.
Feels like he was a mistake. That's an interesting comment. Does your son feel like a mistake? I don't think you're saying you think he's a mistake. But that's tough. I think you said your kid was 16. That's a really confusing age, especially I'll speak from the male perspective, because you feel like a man. You're got hair on your balls and, you're, having, sexual feelings about things, and you're probably working and you're starting to drive and you feel like you're an autonomous person. It's just a super confusing time, for people.
So one of our guests for our later show, our after hours show, is actually at the door. So I'm going to go get the door.
I'll grab it.
You got it?
Yeah, I'll get it. I'm right down here. I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. So Thomas here was saying, let's get back to talking about some good, sexy, kinky things. Before we do that, I do want to say to Summer that considering everything that's going on right now, I hope that you're able to get your son the help that he needs to deal with the depression, as well as, his health issues right now. I know a lot of people, because of COVID, are unfortunately being turned away for their basic health needs because the hospitals are full or certain procedures can't be done at this time. So if you need any assistance or need to know about someone to reach out to, definitely let us know. We can, look into things and maybe get you in the right direction. So back to Thomas here. Let's talk about the good, sexy, kinky stuff.
Yes.
We were talking about themes and stuff. Yes. And there were, okay. Remember last week, I printed out the calendar. Mm-hmm. Do you believe this mofo on the other side of me? Oh, the other side of me here was like, can you put that in the computer calendar?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's listen, I'm not going to hang that calendar up.
Well, I did that for him. So, yeah, there's some, like I said last week, there were some very interesting things that have popped up for events. And,
well, hold on. Lisa, I'm sorry. Summer's asking, well, a couple of things. They said it made it tough for their fiance and also get kinky. Just trying to be a good parent, but secretly kinky. I get it. If you come into Chatterbait later at 9:30 when we go live, we're going to be in there with Lulu. And I would say that Lulu's probably one of the most sex positive people I've met, especially when it comes to dealing with their child, which I think is phenomenal. I personally think it's great. I don't want to say not hiding stuff because I don't live there and I don't know specifically everything that goes on, but by all appearances, they seem like they're pretty open about sexuality and stuff with their child. And I think that's super important. But Summer's also asking, when it comes to kink toys, which do they try? that's a great question, but we need to know in what format. Are you the dom or are you the sub? And what sort of toys would you be interested in trying, depending on where you fall into that. So, and so
I,
back into the swing of things, pun intended.
I do want to say, in reference to Summer's question about kink toys, everyone is talking about the pulsating toys for women. Granted, the first one that came out was called the Womanizer. I hate that name, so I always steer people towards the Satisfier and the Satisfier Pro.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are the dom, putting one of those on the frenulum or the head, the glands of a penis, can be very stimulating and yet torturing.
All right, so I got to talk about that because Marilu did it to me. And I wasn't tied up or anything, but she was just doing it.
He was my beta test. I needed to see.
Oh, so they take turns. Okay, so that's even better. I guess it just depends on what sort of toys you're into. I mean, there's just so many different aspects of BDSM. But so I just want to say, so when you were doing that, what was super interesting, not so much on the frenulum, but you put it like right on the top of the penis. And I may have told you this, but I felt like I could have orgasmed that way.
Yeah. I remember you saying that. Hence why I took it off.
Yeah. And I don't know that I would have or, if I would have or not, but it certainly felt different and felt like it could have produced that. So someone wants to know what that was called. The Satisfier. Yep.
And then you have the Satisfier Pro, and they also have like a smaller travel version, which is also good. Thomas was asking about the Lovin's toys. Yes, the Lovin's toys. You will see those if you click on the Chatterbait. You see those things in everyone.
Yeah,
it's amazing how much those have taken off, and like literally, because you can give someone the code to like the Bluetooth code to that toy, and they could be, you could be here in Pittsburgh and they could be in London, and they could literally be controlling the pulsing sense or the vibration of this toy. It is, I would say, mid-range on the price price scale. But it's something, that is very interesting. And a lot of people enjoy it. And a lot of people make money off of it.
Yeah, it's super interesting how many people are using that on Chatterbait. Friends of ours are on Chatterbait also, and we watched for probably an hour or whatever. And they had one of the people had the I was calling it Love Sense, but what is it called? Lovin's? The Love Sense. Do you know which one it is?
No, but I don't care. As long as it feels good.
Yeah, let me see. Let me look it up. I think it's Love Sense. Yeah, it is. It is Lovin's. So Lovense, Lovin's or Lovin's.
Yeah, Lovin's. Or Love Sense, like Love Sense, Lovin's. I don't know.
Yeah, but there's not another S in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as far as toys, I mean, first of all, we have a basically like a big, I'm saying a Tupperware container, but I don't know what you call it, a bin. We have a big bin, plastic bin with a bunch of different stuff in it. But nothing that I would say are toys specifically, not toys, but you know what I mean? Like, just various different implements and instruments and stuff like that. Floggers, obviously, paddles, I don't know, hoods, masks, ball gags,
feathers.
Yeah, chastity devices, butt plugs, strap-ons. I mean, there's a myriad of things. So I don't think I personally have anything specifically I'd be like, oh my God, you got to get this. It's wonderful. I think just experiment, use your imagination, watch some videos, see what would get you excited, and buy some of those toys, or implement.
And that's the thing. Like, I've always been one where I'm very specific, or have been in the past, very specific about my toys and the size, and that they need to be more for clitoral stimulation than vaginal. And then, because of that, I've always been like, well, I'm not even going to bother with that toy. That's, everyone's talking about it, blah, blah, blah. And then I finally decided, you know what? Why not? Give it a shot. Actually, someone else who's a sex educator that we know gifted me one, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll give it a shot. The first time I was a little like, okay, maybe not. I don't know. The second time I kind of warmed up to it a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And now it's like that one that I pull out for the like, oh yeah. Because I know that my normal toy that I would use, masturbating, would probably burn my clit if I were to use it to the extent in which I for the length, I should say, of time that I would use it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so the pulsating one was like, oh, this is different. Okay. So that's like my go-to when I want extended masturbation time.
So Summer's asking about toys for him. And then I also asked about like Estem stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think we only goofed around with Estem once, maybe twice. Mm-hmm. I sort of have a thing for it. I would definitely want to experiment more with it, but just haven't really done so. Mm-hmm. Not for fear or anything. It's just not been high on the priority list for us. But toys for him, I mean, strap-on play, butt plugs, nipple clamps, floggers, obviously, masks. Marilu likes putting a mask on me. She says it makes it easier for her to beat the crap out of me. But yeah, just experiment around. And it's really a matter of what your partner's comfortable with, mm-hmm. Experimenting with. Some things are a hard no, and some things are like, yeah, let's try it out and see. So
yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, Sunday fun day. I'm going to go to the adult bookstore, or I'm going to look at different things online and see what there is. Yeah. Like there's one company that, I dropped my laptop.
That's great.
There's one company that
we're live.
That has all of a sudden just piqued my interest, and it's called Dame, and it's a all female company. Yeah, okay. I just went to the side there. But they're coming out with some products that are really interesting. And there's one out there too that a few people have been talking about. It's called the Leaf, and it literally looks like a leaf, but it's meant to be more like a tongue. So when you turn it on, it actually flicks back and forth, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, you gotta look to see what there is out there. Well, like I said, have a Sunday fun day.
For sure.
Yeah.
So we're actually going to wrap up here. If any of you want to follow us over to Chatterbait at 9:30, we're going to be back on cam. We'll be on the same camera, and we're going to be on with Lou, so we'll be able to talk a little bit more and maybe get a little more raunchier. I don't know. I guess we'll see. But if there's anything else we missed here, comments wise, somebody says they're afraid they become desensitized. Yeah, that's then you just go harder. Enjoy it. Listen, if you enjoy it, if you have fun with it, there's absolutely no reason not to do it. Provided you're not hurting yourself in some way,
or someone else.
Yeah, or someone else, and by hurting them, I mean without their consent, or you're doing damage. Maybe that's a better phrase, unless you're doing damage, and you definitely don't want to. But desensitized, that just pushes it a little bit further. That's all. So just got to work harder at it.
Yep.
But yeah, so we appreciate you guys jumping in. Unless you come in tonight into Chatterbait, or see us tomorrow night in the virtual chat for New Year's Eve, we probably won't see you till next weekend. I don't know if we're going to do a Chatterbait on Saturday or not, but yeah, if you guys can, just go over to chatterbait.com/thebodyshop. The accounts are free. You don't have to buy anything. We certainly would appreciate it if you did and tipped a little bit. That would be fine too. Maybe I'll show you my nipples if you tip enough. But anyway, come see us on Chatterbait. I don't know, we're going to probably get a little raunchier and talk a little bit more, but we're going to go on for a couple hours there. So chatterbait.com/thebodyshop. You'll see Marilu, myself, and Lulu and Cam. So for everybody else, Happy New Year. See you on the other side of 2021. And
to answer Jason's question, yes, I do like David Duchovny.
Wait, what was the show that he was in that he had sex all the time? What was that called?
Oh my God, it was on HBO. Or no, Showtime. What was the name? I can't remember.
Oh, well. Anyway.
But it was good.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, have a good one. We will hopefully see you in 25-ish minutes on Chatterbait. Probably a little bit longer because I got to get everything set up in another room. So, but thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks, folks.
Yeah, see you guys next year. Californication.
Yes, Californication. That's it. All right, folks. You guys have a good one, and we'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.